The IFSC done it again, sparking major controversy for the second year in a row, and the climbing community is pissed. Aren't they always? In other news, Will Bosi heads into 2025 as the strongest boulderer who ever lived, with 4 V17s under his belt. And speaking of bouldering, Ondra just flashed a V14, the hardest grade to have ever been flashed, in his underwear. I'm Anchor 47 and you're watching Rock Climbing Morning News. Controversy is brewing in the International Federation of Sport Climbing, otherwise known as rock climbing's desperate attempt at becoming a mainstream sport. In Neom, Saudi Arabia, the IFSC held a sport climbing event that left many professional rock climbers outraged. For those of you that don't know, Neom is the location of Saudi Arabia's ambitious Project Neom, a massive mega city dwarfing the size of any other city in the world. That is some Blade Runner shit. Is it dystopian? Yes. Does it have a massive negative effect on the environment? Of course it does. Is it cool? Fuck yeah. The decision by the IFSC to host an event in Neom sparked major outrage, leading to multiple professional rock climbers writing an open letter condemning their actions. Because petitions always work so well. The list of signees includes many prolific climbers such as Ondra, Tommy Caldwell, Margot Hayes, and Alex Magos. Anyways, the letter stated, the climbing community cannot accept that its association supports a project of the dictatorial Saudi regime, a project that leads to violent expropriations, the murder of political opponents, and the irreversible destruction of ecosystems. As a community, we strongly believe that climbing should remain an ethical sport. The ecological crisis is the hardest climb we face. Really? Is it harder than Burden of Dreams? There are essentially two major reasons why climbers are upset with Project Neom. First of all is the environmental impact. Now, I am not a scientist, okay? My education goes as far as freshman year biology, which I failed. So we're just gonna go ahead and skip over the environmental section since I don't know enough about it or what grains of sand are endangered or whatever the problem is. But the second major issue are the human rights violations. You see, to build a giant rectangle, you need space. All right, that's Rectangles 101. But the problem is most space has people living on it. In this case, that would be the Huatate tribe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Huatate people are living on prime rectangle real estate. So to alleviate this issue, the Saudi government issued eviction notices to all people living in the region. But they refused to vacate. So what was the Saudi government's response? Saudi authorities have permitted the use of lethal force to clear land for a futuristic desert city. The rectangle must prevail. Abdul Harim al-Huwaiti refused to allow a land registry committee to value his property and was shot dead by Saudi authorities a day later. At least 47 other villagers were detained after resisting evictions, many of whom were prosecuted on terror-related charges. According to the UN and ALQST, of those, 40 remain in detention, 5 of whom are now on death row. What happens when an unstoppable rectangle meets an immovable tribe? The Saudi government commits human rights violations. So naturally, the climbing community was not pleased when they found out that the IFSC was scheduled to host an event in Neom. And what was the IFSC's response to this? They did it anyway. They do not give a fuck. Now, this whole event happened a year ago, and this year the IFSC returned to Neom to host the event for a second time. And since many of the main climbers that compete in IFSC are protesting the event, we got to see a lot of climbers we don't usually see compete. Silver lining. Now, when I say that this event is in the middle of nowhere, I mean it is in the middle of nowhere. This is basically the Nebraska of Saudi Arabia. That being said, the event as a whole was a big swing and a miss. The route setting was way too easy, so nearly every boulder was flashed by every competitor.
Well, I think we can probably say maybe slightly undercooked is boulder number 1. A bit too easy for this level of athletes, but they've all dealt with it quickly.
I mean, by the time that boulder number 3 came around in the finals, Manuel Cornu flashed his 3rd boulder in a row, and people were so bored that she's yawning, these two were arguing, and nobody's having a good time. This led to both finals coming down to a single dyno boulder, which threw the competitors around like an alcoholic father in a trailer park.
Smiles coming out here. Genya wants a gold one though, and a much bigger fall, and that is a nasty one.
Although that being said, Team France did win both finals with some pretty epic sends.
Gets herself set. Yes!
The only real silver lining in this is that they used the speed wall as a giant projector screen, which is the best use of a speed wall I've seen so far. After the event was over, climbers took to the YouTube comments to voice their concerns. A clear downvote and non-watch from me, a fatal step in the wrong direction for sport climbing. Holding an event in Neom is a disgrace. Horrible format, horrible host country, IFSC is becoming the new FIFA. Shameful. Is the IFSC so hungry for money and so lacking ethics in sport that they would participate at Neom? What an embarrassment. It seems the French anthem has funny words. Powerful stuff. So the question is, what do the professional climbers who spoke out against IFSC want? Well, here is their list of demands. To create and fund an independent environmental and ethics committee to ensure that IFSC adheres to its ecological values. Refrain from partnering with companies that have proven to have significant negative impact on the environment and people. A commitment for all members of the IFSC board and its key stakeholders to participate in a comprehensive educational program on the environmental and climate crisis. Now, I don't know if the IFSC did any of these things or not, but I sincerely doubt it. I mean, you gotta look at it like this. The way a higher up at IFSC is going to read this is, you want us to spend more money, you want us to make less money, and you want us to retake freshman biology. I'm not doing it. My advice from a humble anchorman, just stop hosting events at Neom. There, problem solved. I mean, if we're being honest, this thing's never gonna get built anyway. They started this project in 2017. All they've done so far is dig up some dirt. Either way, the climbing community is clearly upset with the IFSC, but one thing that they're not upset by is Adam Ondra. On February 17th, 2025, Adam Ondra uploaded this video to his YouTube channel. In this video, Adam attempts to flash a V14 called El Elegido. But before he has the chance to give it a go, his shorts get blown away by the wind. I'm not making this up. This left Adam with two options. Try the boulder with pants on, or go for the world's first underwear V14 flash. This is Adam Ondra we're talking about. What do you think he did?
Venga, 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 venga. Ahí, pie derecho. Venga, arriba, que es bueno. Va. Bien.
So Adam successfully flashed the V14 boulder in his underwear with a rainbow in the background to commemorate this historic moment. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you breaking news from our on-scene meteorologist, Emil Eriksson. Thank you, Tom. I'm standing just outside of Fontainebleau, France, where Adam Ondra just sent his first V17, about 2,000 miles in that direction. Adam sent Soudain Sol a V17 after a mere 5 days of projecting. With 4 V16s and now a V17 under his belt, Hurricane Adam is in full swing. You can see residents here in Cincinnati, Ohio taking shelter from the storm as they have no idea how much longer it will last or how much worse it will get. This is Emil Eriksson reporting live on the scene just outside of Fontainebleau, France. That was Emil Eriksson with an on-scene special weather report. Now, back to the news. At this point, Adam Ondra is starting to suffer from the Tom Brady effect, where he's been the best for so long that you start to forget how good he is until he shows up and wins a Super Bowl in his underwear. And while flashing a V14 is impressive, so is sending a V17. 4 times. In October of 2024, Will Bosi successfully sent Spots of Time V17. While most climbers would consider sending a V17 the achievement of a lifetime, this wasn't Will's first rodeo. Because earlier that year, in February 2024, Will sent Return of the Sleepwalker, another V17.
Come on, Will. Come on.
Good. Good.
Come on.
Yes,
Oh my god.
A year before that, in April of 2023, Will sent Burden of Dreams, another V17.
Yes.
And a year before that, in October 2022, Will sent Alphane, a V17, which he believes may actually be a V16. So what does Will have in store for us for 2025? Will he send more V17s, or will Will Bosi have the will to will the world's first V18? We may not know what Will has in store for 2025, but what we do know is he's off to a strong start, because in February this year, he sent Excalibur 9B+, proving that he's not just a boulder bro. Anyway, that's all the news we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to Rock Climbing Morning News. I'm Anchor 47, signing off.